Hello, I am Brother Kelly Hughes, Chaplain of the Arts. We are broadcasting live to tape from the beautiful Valiant Theatre in the heart of Winnipeg's greasy Tenderloin. This is Kelly Hughes Live Slices. One guest, 1 hour. We broadcast on UMFM 101.5 every Saturday 1 to 2. And then we live on YouTube from now until the end of time. Thank you so much for stopping by, and thank you to my guest, Margaret Sweatman, award-winning author. How you doing?
I'm fine, Kelly Hughes, award-winning human being.
And also a genie. You want a genie?
Well, yeah, with Glenn Beer, yeah.
And I was just because I was looking up your bio again, and that was that Gary Yates movie,
Yeah.
7 Times Lucky.
Yeah.
And so Gary did, like back around 20 years ago, he was kind of doing some sort of heisty kind of indie kind of movies. Do you know what he ended up doing?
No.
He does like he stopped, maybe his credits stopped a couple years ago, so I don't know what he's doing now, but he was doing like 1 or 2 or 3 Hallmark Christmas movies a year.
Yes.
He just was like, you know what?
Yeah, bread and butter.
I'm going for the paycheck, baby. And
Yeah. No, I know other people in the film industry. They're bread and butter. That's important. That wasn't a bad movie. 7 Times Lucky. It actually was actually.
When he did a fun movie with the late Steve McIntyre.
Yes.
High Life.
Yeah.
Which was also kind of
Yeah.
fun, and that was maybe
It
a
was
little
fun.
bit. That was a little bit later.
They were really well scripted. It was beautifully filmed, and we wrote 2 songs for it because he'd used very expensive music that then he couldn't use.
Oh yeah.
So we had to bar by bar match the filming.
Oh, okay.
And write these 2 tunes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You had to reverse engineer it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your new book is right here. It is called Nightbirds. Now, I was just looking at your output. Like, you put out a book every 6 years, 8 years, 5 years. This one you did a book like 3.5 years ago or something. Are you speeding up?
Well, no, not really. It was, partly COVID. I wrote this,
yeah.
That was a boost. It was very sad, very lonely, and really good for work. So, and The Gunsmith's Daughter was 2022, so it's still 4 years. And there's always a lag, like I'm working on one now that, I've got one underway now, so you kind of get
So
going.
are you just writing all the time?
Whenever I've got the headspace, yes. I mean, that's what I do. I'm like a shark. I keep moving.
But you never have. I mean, when was the last time you just stopped writing for?
Never. I would be very sad.
Yeah.
It is actually what I breathe. I think about it. That and my family, writing and my family is it for my brain. So.
Yeah. And the family you don't have to work on. I mean, they just are there.
You can worry about them. And writing, it's what I need. I have to, every day, have to.
Yeah.
Land on it.
When do you write? Do you write when you get up? Do you write just any time during the day? Do you?
The early morning is excellent, but I've got a dog that needs walking. And I'm finding actually with this book and maybe getting at the end of Nightbirds, I can work for a couple of hours at a time and get a lot done. I used to kind of need all day, but I think the writing is changing a little bit, maybe becoming more personal maybe. Yeah. So it isn't quite as sluggish. I'm not quite so referential.
I mean, it only took 35 years. How come you think it's becoming more personal? Are you opening up? Are you blossoming?
I am blossoming, Kelly, yes. It is my time. I'm at my prime with my grandchildren and everything. I think especially it's the politics right now because they're extremely personal. And we have hit a place where it doesn't feel historical. It's like we're living in a time of
I'm pretty obsessed with American politics.
Me too.
I listen to and read The Bulwark, which is all the ex-conservatives, and every day there's all kinds of videos and stuff. And I'm more, I know more about what's going on there than I do know what's going on in Canada.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
Well,
whatever.
it's sort of a colonization right now, yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes I think, oh, why am I so obsessed with this? It doesn't really affect me like it does people down there. And then I went to the gas station yesterday, and gas was $1.65 a liter, directly because of what's the crazy person in charge. And so I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I guess this does
And we're affected too by like Palantir and the attitude towards our data, and the surveillance we can't escape that now. So we're living in a fascist era, and so that's really, really personal. I read a lot of. Do you read The Savage Editor on Substack?
No.
That's
I'll
fantastic.
check it out. Yeah. So is there a lot of politics in the new book?
In the one I'm writing now?
No, this one, yeah.
This one? Yeah. It's in a way, it's about the way the mafia has become our government, and that money laundering and the way money has gone underground is destroying democracy. And so there's a bad guy in this who's a major international money launderer, but he's also investing. He's got Canadian investors in his mine in Romania, and he's using the mine to launder money that he makes in South America and Africa. So the way that money now is global and also submerged and hidden. And I think that's really, you look the way the Trump administration is financing itself, and they're laundering money now from Venezuela. So the wars are really about appropriating the global funds to run a state.
When is the book contemporary? Like, when is it set?
It's set in the near future.
Oh, okay.
The next 10 minutes.
Okay. Is that why you call it Transylvania? That's what it says in the...
Well, it is in Transylvania. The mine is in Romania, in Transylvania.
Yeah.
And so, and it truly is. It began, there's a mine there that a Canadian mining company wanted to exploit and take off and move villagers, take off the top, do open pit mining in this beautiful red mountain in Transylvania, Rosia, Montana. And it really is true. They did try and do that. And Greenpeace and other activists moved in and prevented it because it was a heritage site. It's a Roman mine. This is, so it's from year one, this mine.
I was just reading about Roman concrete today. And Roman concrete was made with ash, lime, and I guess aggregate, like stones. But the way that they made it, which I didn't really realize, is when it gets wet and you've got cracks in it, the water reacts, it sort of activates the lime, and it's self-healing. Like if there's a crack, it just continually makes itself stronger.
That's
as opposed
really
to modern, I guess we use Portland cement, which just, if you've got it like a seawall made of that, it's just going to get wrecked. But there's a reason why these Roman ports, some of them are still, the bones are still there after 2,000 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw Transylvania, and I got excited, and I thought that you were jumping onto the vampire train finally.
Well, I mean, that's kind of a thing there.
I guess they're vampires.
The guy's kind of a vampire. Yeah. He's vampiring on natural resources, on global money, on everybody's lives. He's kind of a vampire.
Yeah. I was reading something today or yesterday about how, how the Republicans had gone so hard. Certain ones had gone so hard on Hunter Biden and trying to figure out how he was making money off of, the government and Joe Biden and whatever. And yet, people are literally just giving Trump money.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just backing up truckloads of money, and it's just it's almost like because it's just out in the open.
Yeah.
It's there's nothing to see here. You know?
Well, and this is fantasy money. It's cryptocurrency. It is whatever you say it is.
Yeah.
And some of it isn't stable coin. Some of it is floating currency that they just attribute a value to and they multiply. So we're back to a time, in a way, the origins of money, was kind of a fantasy.
Well,
Back
it's
to
all.
that.
I mean, it's always been arbitrary, but it's just
Yeah.
that sometimes we decide what it means.
Yeah. And there was the gold standard till 1974.
Yeah.
$34 an ounce or
Yeah.
something. Now it's 5,000 an ounce because it's floating,
Yeah.
and people are terrified of what Trump's doing, so they're buying gold like crazy.
Yeah. People are even buying silver.
Yeah.
I was in one of those gold places a few weeks ago selling some. I found some silver dollars, and people were in there buying stuff. You know, this guy was putting, you know, whatever, $1,000 or whatever in, and I just thought,
Yeah.
I guess if you think it's going to go up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not. I don't know. I've never really had the luxury of, like, you know,
Yeah, investing.
having a hoard of you know,
Yeah.
whatever gold and
But when I started this book, gold was 2,000 an ounce, and now it's over 5,000.
wow.
Yeah, but that's. I mean, we're in a crisis now. Who knows? I think.
Yeah.
I mean, the States is pretty well bankrupt. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
he's bankrupt.
Do you now? So you keep up with politics. You keep up with the economics.
Obsessively, yeah.
Do you keep up with it? Are you up on all the tech stuff, AI
Yeah.
and all that business?
Well, did you read Jacob Silverman's about Silicon Valley, the radicalization of Silicon Valley?
No.
It's a scary frickin' book, and a lot of it is about Peter Thiel.
Oh yeah, I
an
know
evil
about Peter
man,
Thiel.
an
Yeah.
evil man, and his like, and so it's portraits of these dudes who really are outright fascists. They do not want they state they don't want democracy.
Yeah.
And so, and they are running the Pentagon, and they are running Israel, and they're running Gaza. You should see what they're doing in Gaza. I mean, not just the destruction, but now with the reorganization.
This is one of the things that I don't like about people wanting to pathologize Trump. For example, people are like, "Oh, he's mentally ill," and I'm like, you know what? I mean, he's probably ADHD, probably, but other than that, like, you know, he's just bad. I mean, can't we just have bad man? You know, he doesn't have to have something wrong with him. I mean, the thing that's wrong with him is he's just bad, and he has attracted all these other bad people like RFK and all these other people who, you know, interestingly, like, not everybody has the same agenda, but he's like, I'm going to do this and this stuff over here, and now he's, you know, sort of was surprised that he was bombing Iran because he seemed like he was more interested in his new ballroom and the Kennedy Center and, you know, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And there's all these sort of underlings that are doing, you know, like Stephen Miller is doing his immigration crackdown.
And Marco Rubio going after Cuba.
Yeah. And even on the Bulwark the other day, I was listening. They were interviewing a libertarian writer from the Cato Institute, which is very libertarian, but he was their immigration writer, and he was, you know, talking about civil liberties. He was a libertarian who actually, I mean, a lot of these guys, whether they were libertarians or neocons or whatever, they kind of gave up all their principles when, you know, to attach themselves to Trump. But he was talking about how he had an argument a week or two ago with, one of the senators from Louisiana, I think, because he had tweeted that Homeland had tweeted that they were going to deport 100 million people, and this guy said, "Well, that's ethnic cleansing." So he had this argument with the senator, and he said, "How is that not ethnic cleansing? Because there's only like," he broke it all down, and there was something like 1.5 million people in the U.S. illegally. Like, the number was not that big. So if you take 100 million people out of the country, who is it? You just picking brown people? And I appreciated that, because I thought, well, I'm not a libertarian, but I thought, well, at least here's somebody who's sticking, you know, with his principles, because so many people just said, well, I'm just going to go with the flow.
It's fragmenting a little bit. This guy Kent, who just resigned, Yeah, so MAGA's fragmenting a bit, but, you know, I'm reading a lot about Germany again in the 40s and 30s, The dissimilarity is that we still have unions, and that's maybe our saving grace, you know, that there's still a civic movement that might save us. It's not complete industrialization.
Well, and the American judiciary is doing a not bad job pushing back, even though Congress has completely collapsed.
They've made some really bad decisions.
But I just mean there's enough different judges, and even judges that were appointed by Reagan and Bush and even Trump himself are saying, well, you can't do this. I mean, the problem is they're just doing what they want anyway. It was heartening to see it was awful to see what was happening in Minneapolis, but it was heartening to see people. There was people like people walking Somali American kids to school because their parents didn't feel like they could leave the house. Stuff like that, which was just really heartening to see. Or people that there's that building where they ICE takes everybody in for interrogation, whatever, and then they boot them out in the middle of the night they've taken their phone and their jacket and whatever, and so there actually are people there. Can't remember what the group is called, but there's people there that are there all the time with jackets and with giving people rides and whatever, because they're just kicking people out in the middle of the night. And I mean, they've had the same weather here that we've had.
Well, these elections are really frightening, and we just have to hope to hell that they defeat them there, in November, if they allow elections to happen.
Do you think that I was just listening to some other podcasts about the rise of anti-Semitism and how that's kind of all conflated with the whole Israel thing, and it was talking about Gen Z, and about how there's this kind of feeling like you can say anything, like we're kind of the anti-woke thing, like you can say words that we decided you couldn't say, and so there's a lot of people that I think feel, especially because when you've got people in these sort of upper echelons that are saying whatever they want, I'm going to say whatever I want. Do you think? Do you see that here in Canada?
Not so bad, although, I mean, if you do look online, you can see white nationalists, the Tyee Journal out of Vancouver just did an expose on white nationalism in Canada. And the reporter was stalked and threatened. But I think we're not seeing like the F word, by our government. Like you look on some of these statements by the senators and the conversation there. I like swearing, but I don't want my politicians to curse. Like I don't. We're supposed to get dressed to go to work. Like we're supposed to dress up our language a bit, have some respect.
Well, and we have a bit of a different system because we have a parliamentary system. It's kind of all or nothing. So whatever party's in power, and because I certainly think if the Conservatives were in power, we would probably be having a different conversation.
I'm afraid so.
As much as people, as much as Carney has his shortcomings,
we could be skeptical about Carney, but
and whatever. But I mean, it's sort of it's just gross to imagine.
I'll say, and I mean, unfortunately, we're quite desperate now. So we're not making any progress with climate, and we're going to have smoke again all summer. People are going to be going up in flames or drowning in floods because we're actually increasing our fossil fuel dependency now all over the globe.
And it's crazy because it would have been a great time to reduce our dependency on fossil fuels before gas was $1.70 a liter, and I mean oil is over $100 a barrel, and
Canada will never be independent from the States if we have petrodollars, which we are now just encouraging. So, I'm glad we have Carney, but I don't think building these pipelines is a way towards Canadian sovereignty. You know, why don't we invest in solar panels and wind farms? I don't, you know, and get away from this dependency on the States. This is going to kill us.
Yeah.
Literally, I do worry about an occupation of Canada by the States. I think it's happening in the way that we're talking right now.
Yeah.
We're obsessed by them.
Yeah. Well, and it's always been a little bit like that. What's the joke? The joke is that Canada was supposed to have French cuisine, American technology, and British culture. Instead, we ended up with British cuisine, French technology, and American culture.
Down. We got it. We screwed up. Yeah.
What do you? Since we're talking about all this stuff, what do you think about AI?
I think we've already been living with it. It's just, its use militarily is just becoming more evident. Those girls that were murdered in Iran, in their girls' school, I think its reliance on, it's a separation, it's a dehumanizing thing that's already going on with us. In writing, I'm getting, like, if you ever talk to any writer right now, we're getting one a day at least, a pitch from somebody who claims they're going to market our novels. They've had AI suck the juice of it, like a spider on a fly. They take and they write these first-year university brilliant essays on our books that they've never read because AI has sucked it. And then they pitch us that they want money from us. So I just had one today. I've had three this week. It's Wednesday.
It's so gross, and
it's crazy.
You know, I mean, there's all kinds of obvious problems with AI. I mean, there's good things with AI. Like there was an article that I wanted to read, but I was driving, so I was on Substack. So I pushed the play button, and the AI reads it.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that seems like it's an accessibility thing.
Yes.
That seems like a reasonable use of AI.
Yes.
But, you know, the fact that these, like, especially with writing and with art, that these models were trained on sucking all the juice out of every writer's work and every artist's work.
Yeah.
And I see people, like, on Facebook posting, you know, AI stuff that I can see as AI art, AI writing, and I'm always telling them, and it's often it's people that are older because they haven't figured it out. But I tell them, I'm like, this is AI slop, and this is why you shouldn't.
Well, it took me a while to recognize. Well, the first couple of these pitches that I had where they're describing my book to me, I'm thinking, someone got my book. And I went, oh, it wasn't a human. But you know, in law, my daughter's a lawyer. It's actually very useful. She's quite optimistic that they could devour, AI can save so much money actually.
But this is the thing, is that's what AI should be doing.
Yeah.
AI should be doing the boring stuff.
Yeah.
The stuff that's going to take too long, the stuff that's too tedious.
Yeah.
You know, I want it to be doing my dishes and cutting my grass. I don't want it to be writing the books and writing the music and making the art.
It's so difficult for teachers right now. Like one of my grandsons is 14, so starting sort of high school. And the teaching, how are they going to teach him, who's very curious and brilliant, how do they help him think and know what thinking feels like? When I was a prof, the students would often be angry at me because it hurt to be learning. You know, you feel stupid and you're powerless. And I don't know this, so don't teach it to me because I don't know it.
Maybe you were just mean.
No, that was very nice. And so to teach people that not knowing feels weird, and you have to actually approach it, like remembering that, because they go quick to the answer.
Yeah.
You know?
And I don't think, I'm sure that when I was in university that I didn't know that I was supposed to be learning how to think, right? I mean, you think you're learning about this or learning about that or whatever.
But there are almost no facts. You're learning how to be. Yeah.
Well, there certainly are no facts now. We live in a post-fact world. Yeah, I mean, I guess that would be a challenge. And then the other thing is plagiarism. Like, how does that how does that work?
It's really hard. It's really hard on the teachers right now, and it's hard for the students to understand why do I have to, who, and what is a source. And,
there are tools like you can take a bunch of text and you can feed it into a website and ask, is this real or not? And it'll tell you, 95% chance that this was written by AI, probably ChatGPT or whatever. So it'll tell you. So I mean, I guess. But then, I don't know. You're gonna have to feed everything through the.
Well,
it's just sort of.
But going back to say, earlier when I was saying that writing is becoming more personal, I think that's the case too because of AI, that we have to metabolize our world and as much as we can understand it and make it real, have some integrity.
Well, that's the thing that AI doesn't have is AI doesn't have you,
the guts,
right? It doesn't have a soul. It doesn't have a. When I was listening to this article today, I listened to it one day and I pressed play and I thought, oh, this is a person reading it because it sounded so real. But then there was a word that it kept saying wrong.
Wow, like
kind of
Pembina?
Well, just something that was weird, and I thought, oh yeah, a person probably would have figured that out.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, this is AI. Like I hadn't really thought about it.
Yeah.
So then I was listening to it again today, and I thought, I mean, it does sound so. The cadence is right.
Right.
There's a lot about it that's right, but it does feel dead. I mean, it does feel like there's nobody there.
It's got yellow blood.
There's nobody home.
It's creepy.
It's crazy. Like, I don't know, 40 years ago, I had a computer that, ran with a tape drive.
Yeah.
And now, like, we're just straight up dystopia now.
Yeah.
Like, we just got there.
Yeah.
All those movies are just all true now.
Yeah.
And even I mean, we've surpassed even some of the things, that when they did these movies 20 or 30 years ago that they could have imagined that they could do. I mean, your phone, your phone can do like everything. My phone's smarter than I am.
Yeah, oh yeah, oh God. Yeah.
I mean, a lot.
Me too. There's no contest. But we have to remember to keep positive, like what it's doing for medicine and I think law. Maybe policing is scary because there's sort of pre-crime analyses going on now with AI, which is really frightening. And that again is that frickin' Peter Thiel, God rest his horrible little soul.
He's not dead yet.
No, he isn't dead.
Sorry.
I know. But there's now I think there's areas where it's getting really, really scary. This predictive crime analyses are really frightening with AI. They kind of look at us and figure out which one of us is going to commit a crime.
So the book that you're writing now, is it dystopian?
Well, it's now. It is me taking things as they are now and just cranking it up a little bit.
So since we're talking about all this, what do you think about, your first novel was out in 91. Things are so different now. I mean, even like in the publishing space, in the lit space, even when, I started selling books in 1999, and then when we closed our bookstore in 2011, we had a bunch of, we had our own reasons, like it was our own stuff, but when I was talking to CBC or whoever wanted to talk about it, they all kept talking about, so this is 2011, they all kept talking about ebooks. Ebooks are killing.
Oh, that was the new thing.
And and I was like, sure, ebooks killed us, sure. But really, I mean, what was happening was people take in their information differently. Like, I mean, I read a fair bit, but I'm not really reading books. I'm reading stuff off my phone, and some of it's good and some of it's garbage, I guess, the same way as if you were picking up a book. But I just think we absorb our information differently.
There's still a real lot of interest in books, and independent publishers are getting much stronger now internationally, and they're starting to collaborate with other independent bookstores, publishers and bookstores. So there's a resurgence of books.
Yeah, and I guess that happens. I guess you sort of hit bottom, and then the ones that are left, redouble their efforts. And I have a friend who owns a big bookstore in Chilliwack, and they've been going strong for a long time, and they when things got hard, they just went harder. And I do feel like if somebody picks this up, like, that this is written by Margaret Sweatman, and you know what you're going to get. Like, honest to God, when I see stuff on the internet, like, I have to look like, is this real?
Yeah.
And even when you're just Googling something, the first thing that comes up is the AI answer.
Oh yeah, but you can just go. I just jump down.
But today I was looking at something, and my partner Andy was like, I was reading it off, and Andy said, "Don't read that." I'm like, "Why not?" Well, it's probably wrong.
Yeah, I do. I always skip the AI answer.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, it's like finding a spider on your shoulder, just flick it off. But the publishers, like Goose Lane has done 4 of my books. They're in Fredericton.
Yeah.
Their production values are stellar. They're kind. I can call them anytime. I got advice from them this morning. Like, I don't know, there's good, Turnstone Press is still around, amazing. And they're smart, hardworking. So I don't know, I feel quite chuffed about this. There's so many books, book clubs, hundreds of them. Yeah. And I think we peaked. I think we hit bottom and bounced.
And I think too, what happens, like, I don't have a bookstore anymore, so I don't really have information on it. But I do think, I know that I have a friend who sells records and CDs and tapes and stuff. And he says that a couple of years ago, he started collecting CDs because people were all getting rid of their CDs because they had everything on their phone.
Yeah.
And he says now when he does these sales, like there was a big one this past weekend, he gets all these now young people, these Gen Zers who are coming and who are buying CDs because it's exciting and because there's a lot of people who young people who probably heard their first bit of music off of a phone. It was an MP3 or a YouTube video or whatever. And so they're interested in records and tapes and CDs. And so I imagine having a physical book for someone who sort of, grew up so digital, I imagine that's got to have some appeal. Yeah, like the idea of volume, how that translates in music and books, that it has a depth of field. And like I have Apple Music, and it just is so unsatisfying. I can't really get a sense of the artist package, eh? Yeah. And we just got a different car. We lost our CD player in our car, and so I'm like, what do you have? I get a CD player now. You just have Bluetooth now? It's all beautiful. Yeah. But it's virtual, and I have to buy a CD player now. Yeah. It's a package. It's a thing. Yeah. Same with analog, eh? I bought a turntable for Glenn, my husband, which broke immediately, but but it was a good one too. But I mean, I love. Remember when the Beatles album? Oh, you're younger, much younger now. But then when they came out, and you'd lie on the couch, smoke some pot, and study the album, and look at every inch of the album, and get a sense of the volume of that, the depth of field of their thinking. Yeah, I mean, I do remember it wasn't the Beatles, but I remember, when I was 14 or whatever, and my sister was 24. I remember I remember her playing Prince. Yeah. And I remember looking at the. And you study. You'd look at all the stuff and you read the stuff as you're listening to it. Yeah. And, that's still important to people. Yeah. I think we're going to human beings. We're going to make it. We're going to pull through. Except for the climate is that's another thing. Do you think that, have we just we just ignored it because we've been so preoccupied with other things. It's fallen off the. Has it gone off with the DEI and?
Human beings are so weird. Like we're driven, and story is driven by desire, and human beings are driven by desire. And if we want something, we might just, oops, just trip over climate and just grab what we want.
Yeah.
We seem hell bent. Just can't stop us.
It does seem so weird that we're sending billionaires into outer space. I mean, they should stay there. I guess they could go and stay.
Yeah.
But and we're gonna there's been talk about colonizing Mars or whatever, and it seems like it would be easier and better to fix our problems here. Yeah. Maybe that's, I don't know.
It would
Is
sure
that
be a lovely
simplistic?
idea.
It seems like why.
I don't understand.
But I think it has to do with selfishness, right? I mean, I think it's. I feel like we're in such a selfish age, and I feel like the fact that I was listening to this interview with one of Elon Musk's baby mamas, and he's worth like $900 billion or something now, like almost $1 trillion, which is like a mind-blowing. Like you can't even.
Can you imagine wanting that much? Like, why would they want that?
But I think a person like that thinks, well, I'm going to go to I'm going to go to Mars or the moon and create my own thing, because I don't want to help any of these people over here, right? Because you don't actually want to help anybody. Yeah. In one of the things that they've talked about, I can't remember who it is, probably Jonathan Last on the Bulwark, about sort of the driving force in American politics. And one of the things that he says is it's about, and I guess he's talking about, MAGA and whatever, it's about sticking it to the people you don't like. That's kind of a big chunk of it. Like, I don't care what your policy is, as long as you're gonna, own the libs, as long as you're gonna kick sand in these guys' faces, as long as you're gonna kill DEI, and this, I don't care what else you do.
Yeah.
And that's why the support, for the Iran war in that segment, it's not popular overall, but in that segment is so popular because, he can do whatever he wants. But nobody was asking for the Iran war.
Yeah.
And he never said that he was going to do it.
Yeah.
It just happened.
Yeah.
He didn't even seem to know what was going to happen when he did it.
I don't think he knows where it is. I don't think he could pass a geography test, grade 8.
Well, he did pass the the test where he named all the animals, right? The cognitive abilities test. That's a giraffe. That's an elephant. Okay. Yeah. And I mean, he is. I do think you were talking about sort of a splintering in that, in that movement. In MAGA, and I think part of that is because, he's 80 or whatever. Like he's losing it, even more than usual. And really, I mean, I don't know that he'll have the energy or the ability to even though he jokes about having a third term. I mean, he's
But I don't think
he looks like he's coming apart at the seams.
Yeah, but it might not splinter because the Republicans suddenly have a conscience.
No, not at all. But I just mean I think that people are starting to see, oh, maybe this wagon isn't going anywhere anymore. You know what I mean? The Trump train ends here probably, so I'm going to jump off and I'm going to,
Well, you look what's happening in Canada though, like with Alberta, and I read a really scary, paranoid little thing recently, that they seem to be absorbing MAGA policies, and that there's and again, that is driven by selfishness, by sort of irrational hatred of wokeness, what they call wokeness. Fear of sexuality is bizarre how much that's playing a role in this. Isn't that bizarre?
And people feel free. This is what I was talking about before. People seem to feel free again to lay all their prejudices and all their gross feelings and beliefs
And
out
fears.
in the open.
Yeah.
Which I guess then you know who you're dealing with. I mean, I guess there's that. But it's like, you ever go on TikTok?
No, I started looking at Instagram a bit, and it's like being out in a hailstorm. I hate
But
it.
TikTok is all videos, and it's an
Yeah.
absolute cesspool. And a lot of it's like AI. Like, and I have an account. Like, I'll post a little snippet of this on TikTok, but so when I open the TikTok, it shows me like it's like you ever use Twitter? It's like for you. It's like not stuff that you've signed up for. It's stuff that it wants you to look at.
Yeah.
So, I'll open up TikTok and it'll be like some AI video that's ridiculing Punjabis and saying that,
boy.
Punjabis in working in Tim Hortons and how they're making the coffee in a toilet, like all this stuff. And I'm just like,
Oh,
and I keep
man.
telling the thing, I'm like,
God.
no, I don't want to see this, don't want to see this. And it keeps showing me more of that. And I'm like,
Wow.
why is this, why the
Wow.
fuck is this algorithm so broken
Wow.
that it thinks that I want to see this? And so
Wow.
any
Wow.
person, any young person
Yeah.
whose,
Yeah.
frontal cortex is not fully formed
Yeah.
is going to open this and see it. And
Yeah.
I mean, you either have to reject it or you have to go, oh,
Yeah.
what is that? What's
Yeah.
that all about?
Yeah.
And it's so gross to me.
Well, and the Christian nationalism is a very scary movement too. I mean, that's that old stuff from the 1930s. It's coming
Sure,
back.
yeah. I was listening to just something about Pete Hegseth's pastor, or kind of the big guy that's in charge of the denomination. What was his name? He has the same name as a Winnipeg musician, Doug Wilson. Not Winnipeg, but Doug. Freddie Wilson, he's a sax player.
Okay.
Anyway, Doug, who is actually from Morden or somewhere, but Doug Wilson is the name of this minister, and he wrote a book in the 90s co-wrote a book about how slavery was biblical and, it was not bad, it was benign, and actually it helped some people who, were on the wrong end of it, who would have been worse off. Like,
In the 90s,
he wrote that in the 90s, and he sort of cleaned up his rhetoric a little bit, but he's got this big, huge denomination, and it's all this Christian nationalism. Like, ultimately, they don't want women to be able to vote. They don't want anybody that's not a Christian to be able to vote. They don't even really want voting because they want. They don't believe democracy is right. And it's funny because I was listening to it, and honestly, like I grew up hearing a lot of that. I grew up in evangelical churches in the 80s and 90s, into the 90s, mostly in the 80s, and that was around. Like, that's been knocking around.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I remember somebody giving me a newsletter or a paper during apartheid, and it was it was a pro-apartheid thing, and I was like,
People actually say that. Nick. It's
15
shocking,
or
isn't it?
16, yeah. But I didn't know, right?
Yeah.
I remember, oh, geez, well, the African National Congress is doing this.
Yeah.
Well, that's really bad.
Yeah.
And so people have always had these rotten ideas.
Yes.
But it just seems so easy to spread them now.
Yeah.
And it seems like I watched on Netflix the other day, Inside the Manosphere.
Yeah.
And did you watch that?
I've heard about it. Yeah.
But some of these, like they talk to this
Very
guy.
awful.
They talk to this guy who's like 23, and he's making all this money, and he's got millions of followers, and he's just filming himself all day. And sometimes sometimes it's sort of gross, misogynistic sex stuff. Sometimes it's they lured some guy somewhere and said he was a pedophile, and they were beating him up.
I heard they discussed that. I heard a discussion about that, and that the reason that happens is that hatred and rage are attractive to human beings, like we're
Right.
swarming towards it.
And so, but these people that are even, like some of these people that are putting it out there, they don't even necessarily like, it's just not, it's nihilistic. Like they don't
Yeah.
even,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
guy's putting this out because he has to fill 8 hours of content a day
Yeah.
or whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, whatever sticks, and, you know,
Yeah.
people are chanting this anti-Semitic stuff, and like, it's just,
Yeah.
it's just very,
Yeah.
it's just very crazy, but there's no, I was just thinking about it. I thought, I mean, there's no, a lot of it, there just seemed to be no even ideology behind it. And I don't know what's worse.
Well, that's
I don't know if the
exactly-
true believers are worse.
Yes.
Or if the people that are just throwing it out
Yes,
there.
and like I guess really what is going to become terrifying, well, what has become terrifying in the States and would be scare the hell out of us in Canada in various pockets is if that becomes policy, if it starts becoming structural, you know,
Yeah.
it enters the, and then we have to, you know, we have to go down to, we have to protest and we have to get involved rather than just sit here and
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah. Slacktivism.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So are you just working on one other thing right now, or do you sometimes have a few other things going, or do you have?
Yeah, I've got a few things going. We're doing a show called The Poets at the Winnipeg Arts Gallery in April. Catherine Hunter is going to read
Nice.
a poem there, and it's with a great band, the Broken Songs Band, and we're doing stuff by Gord Downey, Leonard Cohen, of course, Dylan, of course, but Patti Smith.
Yeah.
And some of Glenn and Vera and my original music. And so we're preparing that for April. I got to learn a bunch of lyrics
Yeah.
and get my voice up to speed somehow. And so that's sort of the next thing. But this, and then this book is really, and then I've got a collection of short fiction that I'm sort of chipping away at.
Yeah.
So yeah, and a play. I've got a play being performed in Halifax. It was launched here to very small audiences at the Output
Okay.
in Video Pool
Okay.
in last year, a year ago.
Sorry, what's it called again?
It's called Fracas.
Okay.
Fracas.
Yeah.
And it's it's a two-hander with fantastic people. And Arne McPherson directs that.
Yeah.
And they're going to mount it in Halifax and maybe Fredericton and Toronto in
Yeah.
November. So I just rewrote the ending because didn't have enough. It needed some work.
Yeah. Didn't have enough oomph.
It didn't have enough. It didn't hurt enough.
Are you happy with? I don't know. Are you happy with everything that you've written that's turned into a book, or do you sometimes think, oh, I guess I wish I could just change this or that, or?
Well, I did reread this last week in one day.
Yeah.
And because I'd forgotten about it.
Yeah.
And I was saying, oh, I should move, or let's move, and I edited it as I was going, cut that, especially he says, she says, you can do, and there's one typo in it.
Uh-huh.
But I love this book. I love that it had the same soul, like I wrote it during COVID, and it was very dreamy, that early draft, but it still has that soul. Mm-hmm. It evolved more into a crime story. Mm-hmm. As my editor Bethany Gibson was working with me on it, and it became more and more sort of realistic, but it still has that spooky soul. So I was glad when I reread it, and I love the cover, and I don't know. It started selling at McNally, and I was realizing my ego had been like chuffed because that night I dreamt that Mark Carney phoned me. Hey, Mark. And I didn't know what he wanted, and he said, I want to be perfectly clear. But then he wouldn't tell me what he wanted.
He wouldn't be perfectly
but he
clear.
did want to talk to Margaret, so I was like, oh, I guess my ego.
Even in your dreams,
In my dreams.
He can't be perfectly
Hi,
clear.
Mark.
Do you have crazy dreams every night?
I have so much insomnia but if I do get a chance to sleep, yeah, the dreams are fantastic. Do you have crazy dreams?
I have crazy dreams all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes about people that I know, but sort of tangentially, and they're kind of in here, and
Yeah.
I'm, this person that I know, I'm begging her for bus money. So then she takes me around shopping to a mall that only exists in my dreams. There's a weird kind of a mall where everything's very kind of close together. And I'm presumably still trying to get where I'm going, but she's, she buys me a couple of swords, and then we're in a McDonald's. You know what I mean? Like just crazy stuff. And I guess it's better than the ones where I have the dreams where my ex-wife merges into my current partner. So those are those are never popular to tell. But no, I am.
Isn't it wild that we dream like that? What the hell is going on?
Well, and my dreams tire me out because often I'm doing some very complicated, busy work thing that I cannot explain when I wake up.
Yeah.
But it was a very important kind of a
exactly.
thing where I'm doing this whole process.
Yes.
And sometimes I'm like, sometimes when I start to wake up, I'm kind of mad, or I'm kind of like, no, I can't wake up because I didn't finish the thing. Before I realize, no, that was not an actual thing. This was just.
Circular work dreams. Blech.
Do you get up and do stuff and walk around when you're having insomnia, or do you just lie there, or no?
Lie there and suffer. Eat worms. Why did I do that? You're awful. You are awful, Sweatman. You're stupid. You're cruel. You're selfish. What time is it? There's time for more worms.
Oh, so
That's great,
even you beat yourself up.
Oh God. But then wake up and have mint tea, and that wakes up the dog. But I make notes sometimes. I just get up and go to work a bit. But usually the notes in the morning aren't as good as they felt when I wrote them down. So generally eating worms, might as well just sit there. I read a lot. I read a lot on an iPad because it's dark.
Yeah.
And don't wake up my husband.
Yeah.
I'm reading Ali Smith's brilliant friggin' books right now. And so, it's a good time to read.
Yeah.
It's a good time to read poetry at insomnia because you're going nowhere.
Have you had insomnia for a long time?
All my life.
Wow.
I used to worry about library books when I was 6. Like, I've got to overdo library books.
Well, this is kind of comforting to know, that someone else is lying.
Vulnerability, the terror and self-hatred.
Yeah. And I think, just back to all these terrible people for a minute. I think the difference is, like, I said this to somebody the other day, like they said, I don't think I did a good job. I said, you know what? You did a good job. And I said, the people who worry about whether or not I did a good job, you're doing a good job. The people that are doing a bad job are not worrying about it.
Yeah.
They're doing a bad job, and they are not worrying about it.
And I was wondering the other day, do psychopaths have insomnia? Like, I wonder if they do. Because so much of our lives are intersections with other people. So,
I realized I forgot to set a timer.
Okay.
So I had to check the time. So we're almost done. But I do think, I don't know. I think a psychopath, like say Donald Trump, he apparently only sleeps 4 hours a night.
Yeah.
I don't think it's because of insomnia, the same kind that you've got.
Yeah.
I think he's just thinking about all the ways that he can screw people.
Yes, I do too. Yeah. And feeling slighted. So he like those people owe me, and those people owe me. He's like a cash register. He's
like a cash register, exactly. So Nightbirds is it still number one on the McNally?
It was last weekend, but
charts
we launch it tomorrow night.
When dreamy Mark Carney was calling you, and then you've got your thing at the WAG, which is in
April 23rd at the WAG.
So that's 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Better learn those lyrics.
Yeah, exactly. Have you ever tried to learn Gord Downie's lyrics?
I have a terrible time.
They're very hard.
I have a terrible time with any. I guess it's just because of my ADHD or something. I've always had a rough time. Like when I was acting, I was always the last guy off book. Yeah. Always, and the director would always yell at me.
Yeah.
Walking it, and I haven't had one recently, but I used to always have. Those frustration dreams where you're in college and you have no pants on. Mine would be that I had to go on stage and I didn't have my costume and I couldn't, and I didn't know what my lines were, and I was trying to find a script.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find my costume and a script the whole time, and then I'm like wandering around for like hours in the dream, and then I'm like, the show must have ended. Is it still? Like, when am I supposed to come on? And so that's you know.
I know.
I
and
never,
it's the wrong play
I never
anyway.
have the exam dream. That's my version of that. But that's like a real, that's like a real thing, because I have a very hard time memorizing stuff.
Yeah.
So, so good for you if you can
work
memorize.
at it. I will keep trying.
Something to do in the middle of the night.
Exactly.
I was going to look up and see when we first talked, when we did it was something like, oh no, I did look it up the other day. It was 15 years ago or something like that. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah.
Still here.
Well, I'm so glad you're here. I really admire what you're doing. I really admire you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you so much, Margaret Sweatman, and thank you so much to you for stopping in to visit with us. Should we say this here? Art will save us all. Thank you so much.